Hey guys, so I've been tying up a bunch of egg sucking leeches today, and I figured I'd do a video. And it's a pretty simple pattern, but I think it looks pretty slick. And let's dive right into it. So first, any shank, most of it's gonna get cut anyways. I like to just keep the actual tied portion short, so it gets lots of flutter and movement. So I think this is a Senyo's articulated shank, but really whatever you have lying around. Thread. This is 50D GSP from Vivas, and I'm gonna put a real good base layer down. Go about a half inch or so the shank, and again like really good tight base layer. Okay, and then to tie the trailer on, I'm using 50-pound Power Pro because I'm gonna attach it to the rabbit. So I got about a 6-inch piece here, just fold it in half. Put a nice point on your loop. And I'm going to tie this in right on the top of the shank. Do like 3 or 4 wraps, and then I want to get my length straight. So for this fly, I like about 2 3/8 from the eye to the back of the loop. And that gives me a finished fly just under 3 inches usually, depending on how long the rabbit hair is. Now when you get the length that you want, I like to really crank this down. I don't ever want this to pull out. Nice tight wraps up to the eye. And if you notice, the eye on this is pretty big, so I like to go right through it and back underneath. And then we go maybe halfway back. It's not critical. It's plenty of strength just going through the eye and getting cranked down with the GSP thread. So I come back to the top. I'm gonna put just an eye. I think this is a small pseudo eye. Again, whatever you got is good. Lead eyes work great. And you can make it super heavy if you want deep water. You can make it fairly light, but I like some weight just to get it to undulate in the water. So I'm going to figure eight these in. And then I come back to the end to where we stop tying in the Power Pro. And now I hit everything under thread with super glue. Okay, and while we're waiting for that to dry, let's prep our rabbit. So often you get it out of the package, it'll be all kinked and wonky. I like to just run it through my fingers, pull out any under fur. This one's pretty clean, and kind of give the hide a bit of a stretch. And I like to measure this out, maybe a 1/4 inch past the end of the loop, because I trim this after I put the hook on. So I just kind of part the hair with my scissors and expose the hide for a little tie-in point. I tie this right on top. Pinch, and again, tight wraps. Give it about 3 or 4 good wraps. And then quite a few wraps in front as well if you want that nice and tight. And now I'm going to make a dubbing loop, some fusion dub. This is electric grape, but you could use ice dub, you could use natural dubs, you can go nuts. This is just a quick and easy leech. Whatever you got, it's going to work great. So, little pinch. I'm just going to straighten all the fibers out, get equal length. And throw that into the dubbing loop. Give it a spin. Now I'm going to brush it out. You can use a toothbrush, you can use a little chunk of Velcro. Oftentimes with the coarser dubbing, I find kind of the edge of the toothbrush to pick it out works best instead of just brushing it flat. That's pretty good. So the distance between where I have the rabbit tied in and the eyes, I'm going to run about halfway up or so with the fusion dub, just one in front of the other. Tie this down nice and tight. And I'm going to brush out the fusion dub. And now rabbit comes up over top. Again, 3 or 4 really tight wraps. And now you can get rid of the hide. Okay, now we're going to do some flash, whatever you got, crystal flash or flashaboo, anything's going to work. So I'm just going right on the side, about the length of the tail. Do the same with the other end of this, right on the side, and then I'm going to clip it in half. The loop that's left, clip it in half, and fold it back. Okay, now we're gonna do the egg portion of the egg sucking leech. So I like using McFly foam. Uh, no idea what color this is. Some sort of an orange. I got the clown egg pack, and this is maybe a 2-inch piece. I'm just gonna fold it. Get rid of this first. So I'm just gonna fold it around the thread and pinch it, and I'm gonna use the thread to put it right in the front. And then again, 3 or 4 really tight wraps, kind of in the same spot. And then I'm going to go behind it, some tight wraps, and that's going to give me a little bit of room for the rabbit that we're going to put in a loop. Come back to the end of the rabbit, and we're going to make another dubbing loop. Okay, so I'm going to take another strip of the rabbit. Throw it in the clip here. So about a full clip's worth. I keep it on the hide, so I put the hide in the clip, and then I transfer it into the other clip. So the hide is out. Now I'm going to cut it off the hide. Into the dubbing loop. And now I spread it out. And now we spin it. And back at it with the toothbrush. So I like to get it thin enough that you can kind of see the thread. And there's no big clumps of hair. Now I just lick my fingers to kind of preen the hair back. Now we'll start wrapping. Okay, and then I like to get at least 2 wraps, like full wraps in front of the eyes. So take your time. It's easier if you wet everything. Get the bunny to kind of stick to itself out of the way. So just wet everything back and tie it off nice and tight. And now I'm going to go in front, pull everything back, wrap in front of the McFly foam. And now I'm going to put some super glue right onto the thread. And just pull everything out of the way and make a nice little head. Let the super glue get in there. And now I'll do a 4 or 5 turn whip finish. And then try to get all the hairs away from the McFly foam. Pull it taut and give it kind of a curved cut. And there's your little egg. There you go. Egg sucking leech. All that's left to do is throw a hook in the loop and attach it to the rabbit and trim it to length.